through it. I got so many friends that are in those states, even if they're Democrats. I hate to mention certain states, but Illinois is badly run with Pritzker. He's a real loser. The problem is you can't penalize people that loan money to the state when you have incompetent people like a Pritzker. Look, the family didn't want him in the family business, and then he ends up being governor of Illinois. So you know what? Is he going to be a great governor?
As I recall, I won by 16 points in my first election, by 12 and a half points in my second election. We're going to have Kamala Harris winning this race all over the country. We know who the winners are, and Donald Trump is the loser.
It's, of course, earlier this week, Elon Musk and Donald Trump having a conversation where Pritzker's name came up several times. Even Trump calling Pritzker a loser, and Pritzker responding yesterday outside the Illinois State Fair saying that Trump's a loser. Wasn't the only set of questions that he received yesterday. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. I went out to the Illinois State Fair to ask the governor questions after they rallied with Democrats, and the Democrats talked everything from, getting more power at the Illinois State House. They already have supermajorities. To electing Kamala Harris to be the next president of the United States as a woman to make history. So a whole host of questions tossed towards the governor yesterday. And here's, again, the question that I had asked about should Harris have to answer to Republicans' criticism that she helped cover up Joe Biden's condition.
That's ludicrous. Sir, first of all, Joe Biden has been one of the greatest presidents we've had. Look at all the things he got done in a bipartisan fashion. We got infrastructure. We got a CHIPS Act that helped to create jobs, technology. We invested in bringing manufacturing home, and that's all because of the work that Joe Biden did.
So he was also asked questions just about politics in general. Here's more of the governor and the Q&A he had with a gaggle of press after the rally yesterday at the Illinois State Fair. Dan, go.
You want me to give it away now?
That's a preview.
No. Here's the preview that we need to elect Kamala Harris. I mean, I said some of it out here, but this is so important. It's the most important election of our lifetimes. We've had to say that, unfortunately, every couple of years now, and it's because of Donald Trump. The danger is so great, we have to overcome it.
So he's talking about, what his speech is going to be at the Democratic National Convention, which is next week, and the Center Square will be on the ground to report out everything from the protests and the security that's happening daily to the conversations that are happening from delegates across the country and more. So be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and get subscribed to the Center Square and America's Talking Network. So one of the things that was asked also was there was a lot of messaging yesterday about Harris being a woman and making history if indeed she is the presidential select, the person who wins the office. Here's that question and the governor responding to, is that the official campaign messaging from the Harris campaign?
There was so much emphasis out here and at the brunch about the fact that there's opportunity to make history. She'd be the first woman president. That's not the message of her campaign.
No, we're just excited about that.
So are you going to take that up and start speaking about that? Will we hear that from you next week?
No, you're going to hear an economic message that's going to make life more affordable for people, lowering costs, right? We're lowering prescription drugs. That is what Kamala Harris is trying to do, lower prescription drugs, raise the minimum wage. She's going to fight to create jobs the way that her current boss, Joe Biden, has already done. And you're going to hear that, I think, later this week in an economic agenda coming out from the Democratic ticket.
So President Trump yesterday held his own kind of event to talk about the economy, where he discussed things like no tax on tips, which he came out with several months ago. But now apparently Kamala Harris is looking to get no tax on tips. But she partners that with increasing the minimum wage, which if you increase the minimum wage, you're also increasing the amount of taxes that are coming out of people's paychecks. Economic conversation for another day, I guess. But Trump also talked about no tax on Social Security yesterday. He discussed the energy policies, drill baby drill, more energy production, getting the supply chain back into the United States, and putting tariffs on countries that don't cooperate with the United States, and the whole idea of reciprocal trade. If it's free trade between countries, it's free trade. If they're charging tariffs, then the U.S. would charge tariffs back. But one thing that Trump talked about also in criticism of Harris was Harris has all these economic ideas that she would implement day one, she says, He doesn't believe that would be the case. However, Trump is critical that Harris hasn't done that already as vice president, second in command in the United States, and why they didn't do that on January 21st of 2021. But again, you'll have about 80 some odd days here to hear even more of this back and forth. But a lot of questions to the governor yesterday, including questions about abortion rights and how he's getting involved in other states' politics. But then he got the question to respond to Donald Trump's comments from earlier this week on X with Elon Musk.
I got so many friends that are in those states, even if they're Democrats. I hate to mention certain states, but Illinois is badly run with Pritzker. He's a real loser.
And Trump went on to say that Pritzker was incompetent. Pritzker asked about this yesterday as the final question to respond to Trump, and here's what Pritzker had to say.
As I recall, I won by 16 points in my first election, by 12.5 points in my second election. We're going to have Kamala Harris winning this race all over the country. We know who the winners are, and Donald Trump is the loser.
A lot more politicking to be had. Illinois Republicans hold events today at the state fair. Still uncertain as to if it is going to happen at the fairgrounds because we do have possible inclement weather. So we'll be out there and we'll bring you that here with Illinois in Focus Daily. All right, don't forget also next week we'll be on the road in Chicago for the Democratic National Convention. The Center Square will have a team on the ground looking at the protests and the security and the conversations and the politics. All of it, go to thecentersquare.com. I'm Greg Bishop, Illinois in Focus Daily. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell with America's Talking Network here on YouTube, and get the podcast anywhere you get podcasts. Just look for Illinois in Focus.